How's it going tonight, John?
Oh, it's going well. How are you, Eric?
It's been a great day, actually. It's been a good day.
Oh, that's good. That's nice to hear.
Yeah, spent an hour with my son. He's has a technology class, and we sat down and we're learning how to. I remember when I was in the early days, you had the turtles,
Yes.
the logo. Uh, it's a little bit more exciting now. Just load up a web page, type some Python code, drag and drop Python code. Anyway, so he's learning, and he created a game where a bunny would catch a coin. So he had to change the velocity and the coordinates of where the coin fell out of the sky, and then using the arrows make a bunny catch it at the bottom.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was a fun little program. He got a little frustrated at first, but picked it up once we kind of got a few strategic hints in. He figured it out.
Oh, that's cool. And this is for, what'd you say, his technology class?
Yeah, his technology class.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
And they're learning Python.
Yes, they don't say it's Python, but that's what it is.
Have you ever shown him Swift Playgrounds?
No, we don't really have an iPad. I don't have a new iPad.
Ah.
I don't think our old iPads will run Swift Playgrounds very well.
I tried to get my kids into them, and they for a little while I was kind of trading, like, extra screen time for Playgrounds, and so they went through the first, I don't know, 10 or 15 levels or whatever, but I really hoped to spark intrinsic motivation, and it did not happen. It is what it is.
Yep.
So, hey, I had a funny story to tell you.
I want to hear it because I haven't actually heard it before. So this is live on the show.
Yeah, that's true. So I went to an Elton John concert last Saturday. I mean, it's his farewell tour, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. And okay, well, I mean, cut to one chase. It was a good concert, but it wasn't nearly as good as we went to see Billy Joel last year when he came through Portland. And man, Billy Joel was just amazing. Anyway, the funny thing about this was I work around the property here all the time, and I almost always have a razor blade kind of tucked into my pants pocket.
Like a knife one, like a...
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it looks like a locking...
You're just not
knife.
Carrying raw razor blades floating around.
No, I'm not carrying a raw razor blade. No. It's like a pocket knife kind, but that have the replaceable razor blades on them. And I don't even think about it. It's just always on, because I use it all the time, multiple times a day. And I didn't even think about it, Took a shower Saturday night, got dressed and went to the concert and tried to go through the security thing. And I had put my wallet and my other, and I'm like, what else do I have on? And then I was like, oh crap, I have the razor blade. Which this is not really the first time this has happened. So because I went through an airport, maybe a year ago. And it was the sort of thing that, I think it was like a 6 a.m. flight. I'm there, and it was I loved that razor blade. I was upset though, and I was late, and I there was nothing else to do. I just kind of took it off, threw it in the trash. What are you going to do? It's a $10, $12 blade, whatever. And then when I was flying back the next day, or maybe even the same day, it might have been a day trip to, California. I was not so pressed for time. And so after I went through the security line, I actually asked the TSA person at the end of the line and said, hey, just out of curiosity, I had a razor blade that I threw away on my way down here. Could I have just opened the catch and thrown the razor blade out and then gone through? And they were like, oh yeah, totally. People do it all the time. Which I was kicking myself, but then when at the Elton John concert, when I'm like, what could it be? And then I pull out the razor blade, and you could see the security guy's face like drops, like, crap, what am I gonna do? And so replaying that in my mind, I just kind of flipped the thing up, took the razor blade. They had a trash can right there. I threw it in the trash. I'm like, there you go. Sorry, man. And he was like, okay, that's fine. And then I went to get wanded, and
Right.
And the wand guy evidently hadn't noticed, and he's like, razor blade. I'm like, anyway, it was a minor bit of 30 seconds of humor, but I thought that was pretty exciting.
Well, you are a dangerous looking character.
Yes, I am a menace. A menace.
Well, I guess then one other thing I'll throw in there, completely unrelated to that, but we've been using Slack for discussion and topics and, throwing things in there of interest, during the week that we then eventually will talk about, or maybe we don't talk about.
Yep.
And so I thought, well, why don't we just open our Slack channel up to anybody that wants to join and throw ideas in or bat ideas around or give us a hard time for an opinion we may or may not have had. So if you go to mostlysecurity.com, you'll be able to find an invite link to our Slack channel if you want to come bug us about something.
Very cool. Very cool.
So,
I think that's a great idea. And soon it will have the new Slack logo, I guess. Slack released a new logo
Change
today.
is hard.
Yes, change is hard. Change is hard.
I saw that.
That's great.
It's like, I didn't see anybody who thought, well, this is an awesome logo. This is brilliant. Everybody I've seen says, what is this?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
It's like if Apple changed their logo to be a pear.
Yeah. No, I think the funniest thing I saw, and I don't have it in front of me, so I'm not going to get it exactly right, but it was evidently in the press release or tweet that Slack said, hey, this is our new logo. They actually called it an application button on the home screen of on the phone.
An application button.
It's not a button. Just saying. Anyway. So I don't know who wrote their press release, but I don't think they were technical.
Well, on that note,
it's okay.
On that note, jump into some follow-up.
Sounds good.
So last week, I had saw, it was right before we went to record last week, the article about the Ring cameras, the Amazon acquired Ring. They do video cameras, internal, external security systems that are all online and whatever. And there was an article that said Ring gave their video feed access to employees, unfettered access to all employees' Ring cameras. And I assumed there would be much more of kerfuffle. Is that over the week? And I didn't really see a whole lot of news about it. And I saw, I guess, it boiled down to, it looks like whatever Ring came out with a statement.
Okay.
And I'll read the statement. And maybe, I guess, enough people took Ring at their word that this is how they were doing it. But basically they said, we take the privacy and security of our customers' personal information extremely seriously. In order to improve our service, we view and annotate certain Ring video recordings. These recordings are sourced exclusively from publicly shared Ring videos from the Neighbors app in accordance with our terms of service, and from a small fraction of Ring users who have provided their explicit written consent to allow us to access and utilize the videos for such purposes. And then they go on to say that, we have strict policies in place, etc. So, I have no reason to believe that's probably not what it was, but
I do not use the Neighbors app, but don't they really encourage you to make that.
Oh yeah, every time you open the app, it's a there's a notification at the top of every time you open the app, a notification that says, hey, go join this, do this neighbor thing, sign up for here. And there's a little X, and you can click the X to remove that little notice. But then when you close the app and come back in, that notice is back. So the X is just remove it for right now. Don't remove it forever.
Yeah.
Which is very annoying. Because I go into the neighbors thing. I haven't signed up or done whatever, but I'll go look and see what's going on around. Because there's been a spate of kids running around the neighborhoods at 2 a.m. trying to get into cars and taking things out of cars. And Ring cameras are catching kids doing this. So, whatever. Anyways, so I'm going to go with the fact that there was not an escalation on this in the news, that Ring's statement held enough water that the press decided, okay, we'll move on to something else.
It's conceivable. I guess the angle I was going for is that, yes, we only do things that you share in the Neighbors app, but if they encourage you to go into to sign up for Neighbors, and if it's really easy, and I don't know how easy it is or if it's automatic that videos get showed, it could still be that a significant fraction of videos are available, quote unquote, available under those terms to their internal annotators, so to speak.
Oh, I'm sure there are, because when I go in to look, I guess I'm just looking at what's there. There are tons of videos there that people have shared, and they're mostly of, this person came to my door and was looking under my thing. This person was looking for packages. This person was, I don't know who this is who came to my door and rang my doorbell. Things like that. So there's lots of videos that get shared, and so I have no doubt they have plenty of videos they can use.
Yeah.
But I guess the fact that there was not enough smoke around to get the fire of fully unfettered access to all videos for all customers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So
right. All right. Well, that's. I hope so. Give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. Watch. Tomorrow there'll be an article. No, they lied. What's up?
Yeah, well. Assume good intent. Assume good intent.
Yes, exactly.
All right. What do you got for me for a topic today?
Well, let's see. So I had two, and I thought we could do one, which is, I don't know if you've seen the meme. I don't do Facebook anymore, and sadly, I'm getting pretty close to killing my Instagram off as well. But there's various memes that go around, and right now, Facebook has, I guess, a 10-year challenge where you post a picture of you 10 years ago and then post a picture of yourself now.
Yep. I've seen a couple of references to that on Twitter.
Yeah, and generally that's just maybe a fun idea, where I was, 10 years ago, what I look like and what I look like now, because everybody has profile pictures. You've been around for, at least online now, a lot of people have been online and posting pictures for about 10 years. So
right.
It's an interesting idea, but a security reporter for Wired magazine tweeted out and said 10 years ago, I probably would have played along with this profile picture aging meme going around. But now I'm wondering how all this data could be mined to train facial recognition algorithms on age progression and age recognition.
Well done.
So,
well done. Way to be suspicious, which is correct.
That's right. It's not like Facebook hasn't done anything to make people feel suspicious. So,
although Facebook does have you tagged already in your photos for probably 10 years, and there's no reason they couldn't probably just grab a bunch of photos. So I don't know. I'll tell you the funny one of those I saw was, it was 2009. and it was a picture of an insulin bottle, and it said $40. And then 2019, it was the exact same picture of the insulin bottle, and it was like $700 or something like that.
Yes. It. Yeah, people, the internet is awesome. People are taking pictures of all sorts of things and doing the 10-year challenge to just make fun of the 10-year challenge.
Right.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
But I guess the security angle or the point here is a lot of these memes and things like we had talked about BuzzFeed before that have the, who do I look like? Which Harry Potter character am I? Things like that. Those are on the surface, kind of mindlessly entertaining. But what kind of things could somebody do if you answer all the questions that get you to the point of deciding whether you're more like Harry or Ron or Hermione or whatever? Or in the case of, like you say, this picture, your 10-year challenge, you could train a machine learning model and pretty much get your 1 billion users to provide
the training set
all with very little work that you have to do, right? Because if Facebook's got all your pictures, and she even mentions in the article, sure, they've got all the pictures, but not everybody uses their profile picture in the same way, and sometimes the EXIF data is that's the data that is kind of is a extra data about the photo that's not in the photo, like the timestamp, what kind of camera took it,
right,
the location potentially, things that kind of stuff gets stripped out. So it would be a lot easier if people just posted it and said, this was me 10 years ago and this is me now.
Right.
So.
Right. Well, I haven't read the article, but I like her sense of suspicion.
Yes.
That is the way to be.
Right. So, what kind of ads could you get? Could you get better insurance or worse insurance if you appear to be aging faster than, your friends, or aging slower than your friends, things like this. So there's all sorts of fun things that we're doing today with
and for targeting data. Right? Well, those surveys and stuff like that.
Targeting.
There was lots of use, wasn't it, for the 2016 campaign? They used a lot of those.
That whole surveys. Cambridge Analytica stuff. Yeah.
Yep. Maybe no memes. No memes for me. I'll be the grumpy old man. Get off of my lawn.
Get off of my meme.
Yeah. That's funny. All right, you want me to do my topic and then we'll come back to your second one?
Yeah, sure. All
right. Well, I thought this was fun. This is the topic I chose was a set of vulnerabilities in a Linux tool, SCP, or Secure Copy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you've used it many, many times.
I think I actually even used it today.
Okay, fantastic. So this is a tool that's used to copy files between servers. So CP is a command that Unixes use, like Linux, to copy a file from one place to another. And they did a long time ago, there was a command called RCP, remote copy, that would let you copy a file from one server to another. But it was not very secure, and so eventually their descendant of RCP called SCP came around, which basically uses SSL to do the actual file copy so that it can't be intercepted and modified in transit. And so SCP, so this is basically a man-in-the-middle attack, or where the attacker controls the server side of the copy. So the command is basically something like, you would say, if you wanted to copy a file from a remote server to you, you would do something like SCP server or user at server : and then the file name you wanted to copy, and then you would space and then where you wanted it to put it, where you want to put the file. Or you could do the other way. You can both copy from your local file system out to a server, or you could copy, from the server back. And this is used all the time when you've got,
Right.
a computer in AWS or Azure, virtual machine or something like that, or just, a couple of computers locally where you want to move files back and forth.
Yep.
So that wasn't really for you. I know you know what SCP is. Anyway, but so this is a set of 4 vulnerabilities, and there's 4 CVEs associated here, or common vulnerability numbers, and together it lets it do very bad things. But so essentially, the first one is that the client doesn't do proper directory name validation. So basically that means that will let the server, so, let's say you wanted to copy something from, remote to local, but the server, when it says, hey, here's what I'm giving you, if the client doesn't check to see that it's getting back what it expects to get, then maybe the server can do something locally on the client that, if it's a malicious server, that would be unexpected. And this is, you have to do this anytime you're doing client-server programming, where you're in control of the server. You have to always assume that the client is malicious. Right? I mean, this is the whole basis of web programming in terms of looking out for cross-site scripting and cross-site request forgery, that kind of stuff. But in this case, since the SCP client doesn't validate what the server is returning, the client could allow the server to change the permissions of the target directory by having the server say that they're basically, quote unquote, creating the local directory. So instead of, let's say you wanted to copy readme.txt, instead of copying readme.txt, the server could say, hey, I'm giving you back a file that's dot, and these are its permissions, which in a Linux file system, the dot directory is the directory you're in. So that's the first one. So the server can control the permissions of the directory that you're in. The second vulnerability is that the client doesn't validate. I mean, this is related, but it's not talking about permission. It's talking about the object that's being returned. So in this case, let's say you tried to copy readme.txt, and the server says, oh no, what I want to give you is .ssh/authorized keys. So basically the server, somehow, for the vulnerability here is the client lets the server say what file is being returned and where to save it. Now, it does say that the directory traversal attacks are prevented, so you can't do like .. and go anywhere on the file system.
Right.
But you can go from wherever the destination is down. So if you're trying to copy something in your home directory, you could edit, let's say your .bash profile.
Right.
So that's not good. And then the third vulnerability is, and actually the third and fourth seem like they have the same effect. The third one is client spoofing via the object name, and the fourth is client spoofing via standard error. So basically these are ways that, since the client doesn't validate what the server's telling it to display, the server can then, not only can it control what gets laid down on disk, but it can control what gets shown to the user. So you can imagine that maybe the client would let you, instead of writing readme.txt, the server says, "Oh, I want you to write, .bash profile." Well, if the client then if you say copy readme.txt and you see the client say wrote bash profile, you might go, "Wait, I didn't tell you to do that. That's weird."
Right.
But by this vulnerability, basically the server can say, "I want you to, write this file, bash profile, and then backspace, 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 readme.txt," or, it can use ANSI control characters to basically hide what would normally be displayed by the user or by the client, and then print whatever it wants. So the example in here, the example program has it basically copying a different file, but then using ANSI control characters to print out just what it returned. So this set of vulnerabilities I thought was whoa, nice. And
well, it's a good thing we found these because, before someone used them.
Yes. It would be really dangerous if these were present for very long. So that was the best quote in this, which you can see the notes, which I could see. I know. They're 35. This is a 35-year-old vulnerability. So the quote from the disclosure is, "The issue dates back to 1983 and RCP on which SCP is based." So let's see. One other thing I was going to say on this. So on this page, they have a list of the disclosure timeline, and he basically initially reported it on the 8th of August. So, it was discovered on the 8th of August and reported to OpenSSH on the 9th of August. And then, there's a number of things about discovered number 3, discovered number 4, and then down to where he was, asking for status updates. The vulnerability in OpenSSH was fixed on November 16th, so that was a while ago, which is nice, although that was only for vulnerability number 1. And then on the 8th of January, basically 6 months later, he requested CVE assignments and disclosed on the 11th. So seems like they did a even better than like a 90-day disclosure. They've got a full 6 months in between here. Wait, hold on. I'm not. It's not quite 6 months. Let's see. September, October, November, December. 5 months, I guess. Sorry. I can't add.
That's all right.
Not bad. I mean, it seems like he or they did a good job of following a responsible disclosure timeline.
Yep.
All right. Well, that was my topic for the day, which I thought was
35-year-old bugs. So last week,
35-year-old bug. You're gonna mock me. Dang it! Look at you.
Your something fun was from 96. Well, and now you got a bug from 83. 96
was a good year. 96 was a great year. All right.
So the second article that I had also kind of popped out this week. Have I Been Pwned? Has a 773 million record data breach that they got a hold of. And it was actually a collection of a bunch of different breaches which were found being traded on different forums. And he's titled it actually Collection Number 1.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I read his post.
Yeah, the fun thing about this one is the collection has more email addresses and passwords than will fit in a 32-bit integer. 2.7 billion rows are being added.
That's crazy.
And unique combinations. I think 81%, I think I saw in the article, have already are already in Have I Been Pwned. So that's 20% new data going into Have I Been Pwned.
That's a lot, though.
Yeah, for the amount of data he's got, half a billion. And there's been another 21 million new passwords that have never been seen before have been added to the Pwned passwords. Good times.
Yep, I got an email from Sir Tony Hunt, or Troy Hunt.
I got a couple. As domain owner, I have a few domains that I had run different emails out of, and then just signed into his service to say, hey, if anyone in this entire domain shows up ever in your thing. So now I got to go figure out, or you can go and download, all the users from that domain
that were hacked,
that
were
hacked in a spreadsheet. Yeah, in a breach, you can pull that from a spreadsheet. So I have yet to do that, but I'll go do that and see which one of my accounts for that domain got lumped into this one. And I got my work email, which I really rarely use for anything really. Signing up, I don't really sign up for accounts with it beyond some work related stuff. My work email showed up. Now I'm confused as where did that come from?
Well, so I was thinking, oh, that's funny that your work email signed up. Mine didn't, but I don't know that I've ever signed up for Have I Been Pwned with my work email. Let me try this real quick. Oh no, pwned.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. It was not collection number 1 though.
Yeah, see, my work email is in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Mine's only in 1. Huh. Are you in the Adapt breach?
Yes, I'm in the Adapt breach.
Yep.
And Apollo breach, which was, billions of records found, a revenue acceleration platform, Exactus inadvertently linked, some marketing firm, Exactus.
We talked about
that
just the other day, I thought.
Yeah. That was from June, and you've been scraped. So I've got 3 have I been pwned and 1 you've been scraped. Oh no, it isn't the one. This is something else from October, November 2018. Several MongoDB instances believed to be hosted by a data aggregator. 66 million records. So
yeah,
I didn't sign up with any of those.
Yeah,
but. Good times.
I should sign up for notifications with work email, I guess. Ugh. Dagnabbit. Anyway, that's a great service he's running. And actually you've got his database to play around with. You're going to have to download it again.
I know. I have a few. I need to get just the updates from when I updated it last.
Does he have deltas?
I believe so. Well, let me rephrase. I really, really hope so. I think so, though.
Yeah, you'd have to think that would be wise.
Yeah.
That would be wise. Yeah, well, go sign up for Have I Been Pwned to get notified if you're discovered any breaches. And is that his sponsor? 1Password.
1Password. Yeah. All comes full circle.
It does indeed. It's all come back down to passwords. All right, man. Give me something fun.
All right. So my something fun is a post by Scott Hanselman, local Portland guy here. He did a post on. He went. If you follow him on Twitter or see him anywhere, he seems to enjoy finding cool things at Goodwill.
Yeah.
And
he does a lot of cool stuff with his kids.
He does. And he found an old LCD monitor with HDMI at Goodwill. and he got a Raspberry Pi, and he created a wall-mounted dashboard, like the family calendar and some pictures. So, and he's got a whole post on how to put that together and how he built it, including a tweak with how he did it with a Raspberry Pi Zero, which is even smaller and cheaper.
Oh, very cool.
But a little bit harder to configure. Not as easy as the Raspberry Pi itself. But anyway, so he's got the whole steps on how to put it together. You can get a Visa flush mount, how you can build all the different pieces together. So I have been wanting to do something like this for a while, but I just haven't got around to it. So this was my something fun to maybe also spur me into, all right, now I have less reasons not to do it because I don't have to go figure things out myself.
Okay. Here's
pretty much a step-by-step how to build it.
That is pretty cool. And I gotta say, like for me at least, this is the first year that I've caught Shirley using the calendar on her phone, which is a new thing. She's been a diehard paper calendar person because she doesn't particularly like computers, frankly. But anyway, I don't know what I would do without the calendar on my phone because it's like the first thing I check in the morning and sometimes the last thing I check at night. What do I have to do first thing in the morning? And then, all right, what's my schedule today?
Exactly.
So I have externalized that part of my brain, and that's cool. That is very cool.
I finally build one because I have a monitor laying around, and I've got plenty of Raspberry Pis laying around. I got the stuff. I have all the stuff. I just need the time now. If I get it going, maybe I'll post a picture at some point.
That would be cool.
In the Slack channel.
In the Slack channel. There you go. Oh, that's true. I could throw pictures and crap in the Slack channel that I wouldn't do out.
Well, you can see bees in your Slack channel.
It's true. It's true. Give me another couple months and I'll be checking them out again.
All
right. So I refuse to be limited to one fun thing. I'm sorry. I have two. So plus last week's or one of the ones last week doesn't count really because it was so old. So all right, my fun this week kind of matches my my undergraduate degrees because the first thing. And I've kind of been kicking this down the road for a couple of weeks, but I really wanted to get it out. But it is a what would you say? I guess a comparison of the energy efficiency of different programming languages.
How do you measure energy efficiency of programming languages?
Well, like they use energy, time, and size. Basically, how many cycles does it take? I think.
Clock cycles on the CPU?
Yeah. Well, like, let's see if they actually give a little bit more information about that.
Sorry, you cut that part out.
No, it's okay.
I didn't mean to.
No, I guess
it doesn't.
It doesn't.
I haven't looked at this. I was really curious.
It doesn't exactly say how they're measuring it, but I would think that it would be, CPU, a measure of time with. See, do they match? They do not match exactly with time, so it's probably a function of. Threading though, or multi-threading, right? Where, if you're using up multiple cores, you could be using more energy, but not taking as long. It would be my presumption, and there might be more information in here about how they do it. But the thing that I thought was most interesting here is if you go down, basically, a third of the way down, they'll actually have normalized results. And so they effectively what this means is that this is ranking languages on their energy, time to solve their various problems, and size. And so, and they're normalized to whichever one is the smallest is basically 1.0. So for both energy and time, straight C is the best here. And so C is 1.0. But the interesting thing here is that Rust is only 1.03 on top of that. And Rust is interesting language. It's getting a lot of traction in some of the like custom ASIC size or chips.
I might have to go play around with Rust. I've only read about it. I've never actually tried to compile anything with Rust.
Yeah, no, I've got a friend who's done quite a bit of stuff with Rust, but yeah, I've never done anything myself. But I thought that was interesting. And then C++ is it's 1.34, so it's a third slower than C. But Java is not as bad as I thought. It's twice as slow as C and twice the energy, but that's better than I would have thought, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Go down to the bottom of the list. You see the bottom two.
Perl and Python.
Perl and Python. Python is
Ruby.
Python takes 75.88 times the amount of energy and 71 times longer to execute. And interestingly, for size of executable, Pascal is the smallest, beating out C, which honestly, that is not intuitive to me. C is C is very close to assembly language in many respects.
And Go beats out C.
And Go beats out C, right? So, interesting to think about that. There's a huge jump in general once you, like, if you look back at energy there again, once you go to some of the more esoteric languages. But JavaScript is not as bad as I thought. I would have expected JavaScript to be up in the, order of magnitude worse performance-wise, but it's only a 4.45 on energy and a 6.52.
I wonder if that's because that would be because that's interpreted. I assume that's what the little I means next to it. Interpreted versus compiled versus virtual.
That's what I would assume.
I wonder if that's because they have the highly optimized, like the V8 engine is highly optimized, or various
yeah.
I assume that would be the engine choice is highly optimized as opposed to. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to make
you want JavaScript to be down with Ruby and Python, but it's not. It's not. TypeScript though is pretty bad. So TypeScript's clearly not benefiting from the just-in-time compiler or whatever is going on with JavaScript. Anyway, we've already spent longer than this is worth looking at, but this is kind of cool for comparing programming languages. My second fun thing is a web page, basically, by a Google engineer that explains what Fourier transforms are and does it kind of visually, and he used a bunch of examples from images. I mean, I guess that makes sense because it's very visual. But you used basically this is how MP3 compression works and how JPEG compression works, and then just talked about what it's like, and this I thought was really cool because I actually used Fourier transforms in my senior project in college to try to I basically was doing computational trying to build computational holograms and then reconstruct them using lasers, which was print them out on transparencies with a high resolution printer, which high resolution at the time was like 600 dpi, and then shine lasers back through them to reconstruct the holograms. Anyway, that was a long time ago though. But Fourier transforms are cool. And this web page is very cool because it kind of gives you a very visual means of playing around with, how many waves to, or how many series to show. Anyway, it's kind of cool. I thought this was fun, and you should show this to Ty. I bet he'd enjoy this.
Yeah, I think he'd think this is cool. Samantha would too, I think.
Especially when they get to kind of the 3D.
Yeah, that's why I got to that point. I'm like, okay.
Anyway, okay, that's enough. That was something fun. I thought that was cool.
It's a very cool website. Yes.
Somebody spent a lot of time on this. All right, man. Shall we call it a show?
Yeah. Call it a show. Have a good night, John.
All right.
Looking forward to next week's article on the security of 8-track tapes.
Well played. Well played, my friend.
I've been thinking of that joke for the last 20 minutes.
Well, you got it. All right. I'll talk to you next week.
See you, John.